Okay, my name's Joe Startt. I live in Lipsick, Delaware. It's about 7 miles from Dover in a little community here. Uh, we built our house on my wife's father's land. So we've been here 45 years.
Wow.
And it's like a family row, you know. So it's pretty nice. We enjoy it.
So
It's nice.
everybody's close by?
Oh my goodness, my son, he's let's see, I usually kid about 850 steps across the field, and my daughter, she's about a quarter mile from the house, and we built both houses from build them, and then they took them over. But I was in construction pretty hard, and well, I said, okay, we'll build it, and then you take it over. So that's what we did, and we got our families here.
And so what are your two children's names?
Uh, Joseph Startt the third and Katie Mitchell. Uh, that's her name, Katie Mitchell.
Yeah. So Katie and Joe the third. Does he go
Mhm.
by Joe?
Well, Joey, hey, come here. What? No, he usually Joe, just Joey
Yeah. So
or Joe.
You're Joe Start the second.
Yes,
And was your father in the military?
yes, he was. He was World War II. Uh, he got shot in the back just before crossing the Rhine River, and he was in the infantry. He got a Purple Heart, so he was. I wanted to be just like him.
So when you got drafted, you didn't have any reservations about serving.
No, I didn't. It's just, well, a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I wanted to be just like my father. He was my best buddy, and I tell you, I worshipped him, and he was good to me, and I just wanted to be like him. If I could be like Joe Startt, then I accomplished everything. And my mom used to say, "You just like your father." I said, "Good." But I mean, some boys want to be like their father, and I definitely wanted to be like Joe. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you were drafted when you were
Yes.
18. What year
Yeah.
was that?
1960, 1969, I think.
Okay. And you were drafted by the Army?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And so how long was it between the time that you were drafted and the time that you arrived in Vietnam?
Uh, let's see. I went in July the 3rd or July 4th, really, after my sister's birthday. And I got in Fort Bragg. Uh, let me see, probably a couple of days after that. I was there 8 weeks, and then I went to Fort McCulloch for advanced infantry training. Then I come home for a month, and then I go on over to Vietnam.
So what month and year was it that you arrived in Vietnam?
69.
So later in the year, though.
Yeah, it was December the 22nd.
Mhm.
You know, happy Merry Christmas, Joe. Oh, okay.
And what do you remember about arriving in Vietnam? What were your first
Oh
impressions?
man. Uh, we come down the, you know, forward steps, and Papa San, he was at the bottom of them, and he, told us, "Hi, how you doing?" But it was nasty, stinking, hot, But then we went to process in and out, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So did you land at Tan Son Nhut?
I think I did. I've kind of lost, you know,
Yeah.
where I come in, where, you know, some people can tell you right down to the minute, but I'm sorry, I can't, you
It's
know.
okay. It's okay. So you went from there to the probably to the repo depot, right? Where you were
Yeah,
assigned to a unit.
yeah.
And what unit were you assigned to?
25th Infantry, 2nd to 14th.
Gotcha. Yeah. The electric strawberry, right?
Yes, sir. That's her. I
Uh-huh.
wear it proudly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I imagine that you probably spent a little time at the repo depot getting acclimatized and
Yeah, yeah. I
you
think I
know,
was there, I don't know, about a week or so.
hmm
You know, then they sent me out to Kuchi, where the
Gucci.
20, yeah, where the 25th is. And
Yeah.
then I started my tour.
And what was your job?
I was M79 Grenadier,
Mhm.
and I carried a M79 with me.
And what do you remember about arriving at Gucci? How were you received by the
Hmm.
guys who had been
Well,
there a while?
everybody received, you know, you new guy, and you got to play up to the game. You know, they say, hey, you know, so they treated me good. You know, lieutenant and everybody, come on in here. You know, so it was a good welcome.
Yeah. And how long was it before you found yourself, you know, how long was it before you saw action?
Mm, I would say probably a month or two.
Hmm.
We got hit, and thank God I'm still alive. But you know, some of my friends got killed.
In the first month.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys were attacked at Gucci or were you out in the field with
No,
it?
we were out in the field.
Uh,
You know, they dropped us off, and like they usually say, you know, search and destroy.
mm,
So that's actually that's exactly what we did most of the time is that we'd have to search and destroy whatever it is, and then call in for the chopper, and they come get us and go back in for maybe a day and go right back out somewhere else. You know, it was we hung in there though.
yeah. Now Gucci is way up north, right? Near the demilitarized zone. So is that
No,
that's
it's Kuchi is if you look at Saigon on the map, it's off to the left a little bit. So look
oh
real
God, what am I? Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of anyway, it doesn't matter.
July.
July, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So you were okay, so Gucci, what kind of terrain was that?
Uh, it was pretty good. You know, I mean, there's jungle around it, but you know, we never got to go out too much, other than you know, search and destroy.
Hmm. But when they dropped you off for those search and destroy missions, that was that in the jungle?
Yeah, yeah, or they cleared a spot and we landed and
Uh-huh.
you know laid down on the ground until we found out what was going on. You know, the choppers would leave, and so here we go.
Yeah. So you carried that M79 around in the field for
Well,
about 9 months before you were
yeah,
injured, right?
right. Yeah, I had two ammo vests that I carried, and 100 pound on my back, basically, and we'd go for it.
Yeah.
I loved them 79 because a 16 would jam all the time. You know, we went across a river or something, you know, and it got water in it. It would just, especially if we got hit and you forgot to open it up and get the water out, you know, pull the chamber back. But other than that, I wanted M79 because I don't think she's going to jam on me.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So can we talk about the day that you were injured?
Yeah. Uh, what happened is the I think the VC or the NVA was going to overrun this village. So we set up an ambush, and just sitting there like I told you, we're sitting there north, south, east, and west, covering all the you know the lookouts and stuff. And like I said, I had to go use the bathroom, and I walked out a little ways, and I come back in. I told my sergeant, I said, there's a tank let some guys off. Said no, there's not supposed to be anybody in our sector. Well, lo and behold, probably about 20 minutes after I sat down on my helmet, I heard the M79 go off. And man, hell broke loose. September the 26th.
Of 70.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
do you remember the name of the village?
No, I don't.
Okay. But you had been flown out there, I assume, from Cucci?
Yeah. Well, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't too far from this little village. I mean, I think we walked, to be honest with you.
From Cucci?
Yeah, to a little village, or they might
Okay.
have dropped us off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But you had some intel that said that the village was going to be overrun, and so you guys went
Yeah.
out there and set up a perimeter.
Right. Yep.
Okay. And you said that you had gone out to use the bathroom and you saw what you thought was a tank unloading some guys.
Yep.
So let's take it from there.
Yeah. They're coming down the trail. And like I said, I heard the M79 go off, and we fired back at them. They fired at us. And what had happened, a scout dog had alerted on us. And that's where I guess they thought we were VC or whatever. But, 2 or 3 guys that's got blonde hair, they don't look like VC. But I think what they did is they held back a little bit just to make sure. And then they laid down a base of fire. And then that's when we got into it.
So you were fired on by friendly forces?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, well, then again, I landed, or they got me on this, I went on to cover this growth by a bridge. And I thought to myself, I said, if this is VC, they're going to have to come get me because I ain't surrendering. And I was in some water, and I had my head, under some growth. Then when they quit firing on us, my buddy come to get me, and I had a hard time getting on the bridge because my thumb was blew off, or just hanging. And I went to reach for the bridge, and I heard this real loud noise in the back, on my back. I heard and I reached up on the bridge, and I had a hole in my back where it collapsed my lung. And
what caused the hole in your back?
The M79 blast.
Okay.
It hit a tree, and I guess some of the shrapnel come off of there or whatever. It hit me in the back, hit me in the neck, hit me in the arm. The doctor said if it had been 2 centimeters or whatever it is, hit my spine, I'd have been paralyzed. But just thank God that I made it,
Yeah.
But then I went to
so you're trying to get out of the water.
Yeah.
Your thumb is injured, your neck is injured, your
Yeah.
back is injured, and your lung is collapsed.
Yes. And I had a friend of mine. He was with the lieutenant, and I guess after things had calmed down, they called a Dustoff in, and my buddy carried me on. Well, 2 of them carried me on the litter, got me to the chopper. And I was, well, I guess I was, you would say, really, I don't know what you'd call it, but I asked the corpsman or the medic, because my lung was collapsed, and I said, "Can you help me breathe?" I said, "I can't breathe." And I think the water, when I went in, it got all my clothes wet, and that's kind of helped save me there too. But I told him, he said, the only way I can help you is if you pass out. I said, well, knock me out then. But, it helped me breathe. And I got to the hospital and they jumped on me right away. And they were going to finish cutting my thumb off. I said, no, 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 don't do that. I said, I'll come over here with it. I'm going to go home with it. So I went back. Well, they probably, I don't know, maybe, I forget how long it was that I went to Japan. Then I thought, wherever they fuel up the planes, it was a 141. Then I ended up in Valley Forge Hospital, and I stayed there like 6 months, rehabilitating my thumb. They took a piece of bone out of my right here on my lip, on my arm, and put that in my thumb. And I still got my thumb. I mean, it's not like how can you do anything if you don't have a thumb?
Right. Right.
There's no way. And I told him, I said,
You're certainly not going to have a career in construction without a thumb.
yeah, that's exactly right. You can't pick up a hammer or hold a nail.
Mm-hmm.
So thank God they did. There was a doctor there, Dr. Stein, who operated on me, put a pin in there in my bone in my thumb. And every once in a while, that bone marrow would push out of with that stainless, and it pull out a little bit, and I'd have to get it cut off. But it kept it straight. And I probably stayed there. But like I said, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months maybe.
Mm.
And then he'd let me come home for, the weekend and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go back to that chopper ride. So your friends, your buddies get you on the litter and load you onto the chopper.
Yeah.
And what do you remember about the ride?
Well, like I said, the only thing I remember is, they put me on the chopper, got me to the hospital, and they jumped on me right away.
Right.
So.
But I mean, in the chopper, in the chopper, you obviously got attention from the medic.
Yeah, a little bit. And I don't remember. I think I was out of it really.
Mm.
I wasn't really talking to. Well, I talked to. I had a collapsed lung. I said, "Well, help me breathe. I can't until." And I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to the hospital, and they unloaded me and took me in the hospital. And I'm telling you, buddy, they did a job on me. They really.
Now, Joe, you mentioned that you said you felt like the fact that your clothes were wet may have.
There was a stream there, and I went into the stream. I don't know if I swam or I walked, run in the stream, but there was a bridge here, and it was, had been blowed up, and I got underneath of it and, waited for the fire. I was all messed up too, but I was waiting for the fire to stop. And then I guess that's when a couple of my buddies come up and say, hey, try to help me on the bridge and stuff.
But you said that because you said you thought that your clothes being wet somehow might have saved you. How would that be?
It was being cold and shivering, and the air blowing through the chopper. I think, really in the medics, I think that's what really saved me, because I was shivering and, really cold and the wind blowing through, the chopper. I think that's what really, them and the medics, saved me.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there anything that you'd like to say about those Dustoff crews and the work that they did?
Well, I tell you, being in the field, and when you need support or some people got hurt, they come in. They didn't really care if you're taking fire or not. I mean, when they got a call to go in and pick the wounded up, they come in. there's no stopping, buddy. When they say, okay, down the road here, we got 4 people, they didn't care. They didn't care if they were getting shot at or whatever. Their mission was to come get them guys. And I thank the Lord every day that, them choppers flown and they flew every day. And the crew chief and the medic and all them. Well, the first two uh, podcasts, they were gunners and stuff like that. If we had guns on the chopper, but most of them didn't have no guns.
Mhm.
And I never experienced the litter, dropping down in the canopy and picking up a wounded soldier. And, most of ours was on the ground, we'd help them get on. But other than that, I just, man, oh man, I'm cold and shivering and you'll be all right, patting me on the head. You'll be okay. You'll be up there. How can you tell me I'm going to be all right and I'm the one blowed up? But they helped. They try to get you to laugh, and they're a godsend. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand what the medics and the chopper pilots went through. They my hats off for them, buddy. Believe me. And
Now, go ahead.
uh, I was sharing with you yesterday. A couple of them come to Delaware because we just built a memorial, for the Vietnam veterans, and we got a chopper there that we went down to uh, Melbourne, Florida, and we went down and we had a friend that had a tractor and trailer that was coming back up the Delaware, going through Delaware. He brought the chopper up for us, and when we put it on the pole and had her painted and kissed it a couple times.
Mm.
But that, it is what it is.
Now, it sounds like in your case, when they came in to get you, the landing zone wasn't hot, right? You guys weren't, there was
No,
no
no,
enemy contact at that point.
nope,
Were
nope.
there other guys in your platoon who were injured that got on the chopper with you?
Yeah, I think one of the guys got his eye blowed out, and I had a sergeant that got a bunch of shrapnel, and they were. I don't think it. No, I don't think they were pulled out with. Maybe they got on. I don't know. I was kind of half dazed, but I remember just them two. One guy got his eye put out, and then my sergeant. I guess he, what the heck you call them that bleed. Uh, if you get cut or something, you bleed real bad. And he was in Vietnam and wasn't supposed to be there, you know, bleeding and stuff. If he gets cut or shrapnel or something, I guess he'd bleed real bad.
Mm.
And, but other than that, that's.
And have you been to the wall?
Yes, sir. I was there when they dedicated it.
And when you go there, Joe, is there anybody in particular that you look for?
Well, I'll tell you, Michael, there's one guy I kind of got, I don't want to say got real close to him, but he reminded me of a buddy back here. The only thing I can remember, I know his name probably ain't Wayne, but we went out on operation and we were going to set up an ambush together, but we set up two, in case he comes the other side, and he got killed. They shot an RPG out, and I guess it hit him and killed him. And I think I was the only one that I really, really think about because we were taking on fire and they were firing at us, and I was just trying to crawl around and see if I could help anybody. That was the main thing, and we got a Cobra to come in and shoot for us, and man, I kicked back, had a strobe light on my helmet, and I kicked back. I said, "Man, this baby's gonna help us." and he just sat down, he run him out of there or whatever, he done killed him or something. I don't know, but I was tickled to see that chopper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you mentioned
But
that you've been involved in the veterans community.
yes.
Uh, can you talk a little bit about your involvement and the work that you're doing with veterans?
Well, uh, when I when I first started, I went to one. Well, let me take it back. Every time my buddy seen me, he would, "Hey man, you got to join the chapter." You got, and I didn't really, really want to get involved, and I said, just, I don't want to get involved with it. So one day I was coming home from work, and he was on his motorcycle, and I kind of knew who it was, and he pulled me over and said, "Man, you got to join." Well, I'm thankful that he pulled me over and I joined because it's a wonderful, our organization is phenomenal. We built a we built a memorial. I think 4 or 5 years to build a memorial, and it was a time when the money was tight, and they told us that, why are you building it now? You're not going to get no donations or nothing. Well, we tricked them. I'm driving a bus. You're just getting back. But yeah, and I had a real good friend uh, that stuck by me and helped me get things going. Because I didn't really think I was a president. Uh, I didn't think I was president, but they helped me get through it, and I think I've been there 21 or 22 years, uh, being the president. But
Of your chapter?
yeah, we've done a lot. We built that memorial. We went and got the chopper, and we got a memorial for service dogs. And Gold Star Mother, and Middle East. We got one for them, and it's just been wonderful. I was telling my wife the other day. I said, if I hadn't have met these guys, they're wonderful people too. They want to get right in there and help too sometimes, but
Mhm.
it's pretty tough. Doing we painted the chopper. Uh, my buddy put LED lights on the outside, and I got up in the cockpit and put an 18-inch LED light underneath the yeah, man, it was right on is in between the pilot and co-pilot, you know, and by the glove compartment. That's what I wanted to say.
Uh,
But it's LEDs, and we got it on a timer. When the sun goes down, the cockpit lights up, and you have a pilot and co-pilot. It's really. And then we got the uniforms. This guy wore the uniforms, and he got them that was in Vietnam. So it's kind of unique to see a chopper there with the lights on and cabin lit up. But that's what we got. And then well, most of the time, electricians and everybody jumped in to help us. The guy put the chopper on a pole. He had a big crane, and he lifted it up Air Force, and had a lot of donations. One guy went to get the chopper and brought it to the site, and we put the blades on, and he lifted it up on the buddy of mine. Two or three of them guys made the pedestal for the had to go through inspection, and is it welded good enough? But these guys are welders. They know what they're doing. We lifted it up, and she's pretty. I'm telling you, got that cross on.
yeah. Oh, you
That's
got it. You made a dust off
oh yeah.
chopper. Okay.
Joey was in that. Joey was in that deal. JoJo here. Sure, I said I know what Well, it was a medevac chopper anyway,
Oh,
and it had the crosses on, and I said we gotta light them babies up. So we got it up, and like I said, it was a lot of help.
so you, all right. So I just want to make sure I understand all this correctly. So as the president of your chapter, you led
Mhm.
the effort to get this memorial built, and then you had an opportunity to add a Dustoff chopper to the
Yes, sir.
memorial.
Yep. Well, let
And
me tell you how.
what did that mean to you as a guy who
Oh
actually
my
was,
God, I
who,
was tickled to death.
I mean, you
And
were
they
actually
said,
dusted off
yeah, yeah, and that's a real good friend of mine. Are we allowed to say names or?
if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, a real good friend of mine, Paul Davis. He's in the politics and stuff, and he was one of the ones that really helped us get this thing done. The memorial, and he contacted Washington and called everybody, Hillary, and said, "No, we don't have no choppers, no more choppers, because they're getting rebuilt, and sent over to Columbia or whatever." So his buddy was in Melbourne, Florida, and rode by this fence. There was like 40 choppers in there because they rehabilitate them there or rebuild them there and then send them overseas. So he called Paul. Man, Paul said, "Uh-oh, this is some, you know, gas for the fire." And he got him to tell us that we could come. Well, the chopper, I'm getting ahead of myself here. The chopper was from New York. It was a medevac that they brought over from New York, and they knew that we wanted to get a chopper. So Paul went through a lot of strings and stuff. Finally got it, and we went down to pick it up, and I seen all these pieces of chopper laying out the rotary, the front cabin. And I was, oh man, we got to put this thing back together. But I had already talked to some of the guys out to the base. He said, "Buddy, you bring her home. We'll put her together." So I asked the guy there that was at the gate. He was going to let us in. I said, "Is this what we got right here?" He said, "Nope." I said, "Right around the corner. We'll walk right around the building." And there she sat, complete, had bubble wrap on, had bubble wrap on the windows. He said, "This is the one you're going to take home." I said, "Oh man." So the truck backed up there, and we heard the crane coming down the road. He come in, craned her up on the truck, and strapped her down, and we're off to Delaware.
Mm.
So it was a real nice day, getting this thing, and it was really good. So we've been working on it, and I took it. My wife's cousin has like a Quonset hut, and he backed it in there for us with the crane, and we sat in there and sanded it, and got it ready for a new paint job. And oh my goodness, it was a good day.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
Yep.
Now, where exactly is this memorial? Is it in Dover?
It's in Dover, Delaware.
Uh,
Right. I think it's 555 South Little Creek Road. But we got a memorials uh, set up too there. I forget what uh, we got a website, that you can go on, and I think it's www dot. Uh, I'm all messed up.
but the memorial is it's specifically a Vietnam memorial.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, all services really, because we were going to do it just for Vietnam, and they said, "Well, why not do it for the rest? World War II. And
I see.
so,
I see. Okay.
so it's a park now.
But the Dustoff chopper that you guys display there, that's a Vietnam era
Yeah.
chopper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you sent me some audio of your family, and I just want to make sure I know whose voices are there. Obviously, Katie and Joe
Katie, yeah.
and Joe the third.
Yeah.
Children of theirs, were they at the
Uh,
table as well?
yes. Joey's daughter, Jordan, let's see, Joey's wife, Renee, uh, well, I said Gordy, Katie and Gordy, Joan and I, and I think that's about it.
So
Yeah.
three couples and two children,
Yeah.
8 people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And other than Joan, none of those
Mm-hmm.
people would exist.
Huh?
Other than Joan, your wife,
Yeah.
none of the other people would exist if you had died
No,
in Vietnam.
no. And see, that's I kind of think about that all the time too. I mean, these guys, you saved my life so I could come home and have a beautiful family. If it hadn't have been for the Dustoff guys, you know, medics and stuff, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you. And they really they got to my heart, and I'll tell you, whatever I could do for them guys. So yeah, it was quite an experience. But they were all laughing last night, joking around, cutting up. Some of them were loud, some of them wasn't.
Yeah.
My son, when he gets a little drinking, I guess he was drinking before he come over, and he gets a little loud. Well, I do too, but that's him.
Well, I think you're doing something nice for those dust off guys right now, right? Just
Oh,
lending your voice to this
yeah.
episode, and then letting them hear how much they mean to you.
Oh, Michael, you don't know how much they mean to me. I know probably a lot of people uh, wouldn't even know who dusted them off and stuff. And I'm not sure who dusted me off, but I know one thing: there was 55 of them here, and if I could find out who it was, it'd be great to thank him from the bottom of my heart. Because I'll tell you, if it hadn't been for them guys running all them missions and you know 18, 19 years old flying helicopters, who would ever thought who would ever thought about that, you know? And just going out there and doing what they were supposed to do, you
Yeah.
know. But they said, well, that was our job. Yeah, but you don't know how your job affects me. I was laying on the dirt, and you come in, flew in. Well, it was like we were saying, it was it wasn't it was a secured area. They come in and loaded me up and say, here I am.
But isn't it amazing that they could get to you? I mean, regardless of whether that was secured or hot or whatever, like just the
Yeah.
fact that they could get to you as quickly as they did and get you to higher care as quickly
Yep.
as they did
Yep.
and keep you alive in the meantime.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I don't know exactly uh, what they did as far as me being in the chopper. They might have given me some what the heck? They might have given me something for pain and stuff, but I guess I was in shock. So when you're in shock, I guess I never paid no attention to as far as hurting. I couldn't tell you if I was hurt or not. I guess but they got me there. Thank God for the nurses and the doctors. You know, I would just love to tell them all that and I'm grateful for them guys, you know. But we used to joke with all them guys. You know, we were in infantry, and we would joke with them when we come in off a mission to come in the kitchen, and it wasn't right. I mean, we shouldn't have done it, but you know,
What
this is
kind of
our
joking?
kitchen now. Get out of here, man. They scatter.
What was
But
that again? Say that again.
hey, we come in from an operation and go in the dining hall, and there'd be some guys from post office and cleaners and stuff, and we'd have to holler, "This is our restaurant now. Get out, man." They'd scatter, but it's we shouldn't have done that. We just
Right.
that's the way we were.
Yeah.
In the infantry, you kind of I look at it different now, but when I was 18 or 19, you couldn't do nothing to hurt me.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Uh, yeah, 54.
You're not 54.
Huh?
You're not
No,
54.
seven.
That would make you younger than me.
Oh, no, 74.
74.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Um, is there anything that I have not asked you that you wish I had?
Mm,
Anything else you want to say about the Wolfhounds or the Dustoff guys or anything like that?
uh, no, I guess I don't know. I hope I said enough to
You did.
recognize them guys because I tell you, phew, my hat's off to them, buddy. And I think they're coming back either this year or next year to Dover again for another reunion. So, but
You,
yeah,
you
that'd
ever
be
been to
nice.
Dustoff reunion?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah, you've gone before?
Yeah, we had one here,
You
and
had a
they.
Dustoff reunion here. That's when you were saying you had 55 of them there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you went there?
Oh yeah, I was right in the head of them. We had it at our memorial, so it was we had a motorcade coming from the uh, motel, had cops blowing sirens and stuff, and then when we got to the memorial, they had two big flags across the road. They got a good welcome, and they were all I mean, just being around people, I man, oh man. But I went to one of the reunions. I think it was in Nashville, and we had a good time there too.
So you spent a fair amount of time aside from your own Dustoff experience. You've spent a fair amount of time in the company of Dustoff crew members, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, well,
and
I
what's the most surprising or memorable conversation you've ever had with somebody who flew Dustoff in Vietnam?
uh, I said I love you guys, and I'm glad you're here, and glad to say you saved my life, and that's
I see.
or if you could put it in different words or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I just wondered if, any of them ever told you a story that surprised you.
Mm, yeah, they no, they didn't,
No.
but I could definitely remember if they did, but
Yeah.
they just talk like we're talking.
Yeah.
Excuse me, right now. Then if you really got to know them, they would open up a little bit, but I never really asked them to say anything.
Yeah. Well, I think I have what I need. I think, one thing I want to make sure you understand is how much I appreciate the effort that it took on your part to do this.
Uh,
I
I,
mean, this was not the smoothest or easiest
yeah,
experience for you. And I appreciate, and I know that you were reluctant at first to talk at all. But the fact that you you not only decided to participate, but you went through some difficulty technically, right? The
Yeah,
technology to
yeah,
make this happen.
yeah.
I think all of that is a testament to how much these guys mean to you.
Oh my God, they don't they don't know how much they mean to me. I'll tell you, if it hadn't been for them, I wouldn't be here. So how can I, extend, my thanks to them, but just saying everything I can about the chopper pilots and the medics and they just, you know, they mean so much to me. Like I said before, some people probably never ever get to talk to, the medics or the Dustoffs. And I was one of them that good had the conversation with them, and like I was saying yesterday, I think it was yesterday. They come to Dover, and Mike, he
Logan,
come, yeah, he come to Dover. Him and John Chavanel, and I was saying, we were hugging, and you know, glad to see you and all this. And I think I told you, I don't know how to thank you. How can I thank you guys? And they said, the way you can thank me is you're here and you got a little granddaughter, and that means a lot to us because we got you home. And that's, I don't know. It's I love them. I love them to death, boy. If it hadn't been for them and their nurses, I don't think the nurses get too much praise either. They work like dogs too. Coming in and out. But
yeah,
I
and every one of them chose to be there.
yeah, yeah, right. Yep. It's not like I'm not
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
I
Nurses didn't
want to
get
go.
drafted, I don't think.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to go. I want to help them.
Right,
And
right.
what can you do?
Yeah. Man, when you think about all that those dust off guys experienced and all that they endured and all that they invented,
Yeah,
frankly,
yeah.
and to think that they were 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
It's coming in. They love the United States and they're fighting for it. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's an experience. But
Well, Joe, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate, honestly, I really appreciate the amount of I mean, I know this wasn't easy for you, and I really, I think it's, I think it's, I think it's so important that listeners get to hear
yeah, yeah,
your
that's
voice.
what I want. I want them to hear. Them dust off guys, and I'm just, I thank God every day that they brought me home. Got a wonderful family, and what else can I say?
Yeah. And the work that you're doing as the president of your chapter, I think that's really important also. And
Uh,
so,
I love my chapter. We
yeah,
got good people. We've done good things. You know, and they a lot of people stop and look at it. It
yeah. Now, how long
but
did you say that you've been the president of that chapter?
I think 22. I think it was like 2010 or something.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that's a long time.
yeah. But can't nobody can't find nobody to take my place. I told them that it's you get a good pay.
Maybe you set the bar too high. Maybe
Yeah.
nobody wants to follow in your shoes.
Well, I I'm sure they are if they'd step up, but I don't think they would go out like I did and want things to happen there because it's a beautiful, beautiful park and we just love it.